Everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you're here. I'm standing in my backyard because this is where we're going to get started. But y'all, we're going to be all over the garden today in all the gardening spaces. So we're going to start in the backyard and do some stuff with our onions that we talked about in a previous video. And then we're going to head down to the high tunnel. I got some stuff to show you down there. And then we're going to head to the outside garden. So we're going to be in all the places. This is just your typical straight gardening fun video. So I hope that you will tune in and stick around. If you are new, my name is Barbara. I live in Tennessee. And on this channel, we talk a lot about gardening, but also other homesteading content like food preservation, cooking from scratch, DIY, you name it. We talk about it here. So we are in the spring season, headed towards summer, and we are planting out our summer garden over the last week or so. And we still have a little bit more to do that we'll try to do on this video. And so it is heavy gardening season where we are. And so in my last video, I talked about my onions and how they were just flopping over. You guys gave me a lot of good information and things to think about and to consider. And so we're going to start the video off with our onions. And now that it's dried out some, I'm going to actually fertilize my onions. And I am using this right here from Fox Farm. It is called Tiger Bloom. You can notice that it's 284, which means it is high in phosphorus. And so if you're new to gardening, those numbers actually mean something. The first number is always nitrogen. The second number is phosphorus. The last number is potassium. And so phosphorus is great for bulb and root development. So when you're doing root crops like garlic, onion, carrots, beets, things like that, you need a high level of phosphorus to kind of help with boost up that root development. So we're going to fertilize with that first. And I'm just have to do it the old-fashioned way. My pump sprayer is not working, the one that I have back here. I haven't tried it since it stopped working last time. Who knows? You know, sometimes stuff is not working when you let it sit a season, you turn it back on, and it's like, oh, it's working again. I haven't turned it back on. So we're going to use the old-fashioned watering can, which means we're going to do several trips. But I've already put my fertilizer in there. We're going to fill it up with water and just get to it the old-fashioned way. Some of you might be like, girl, this is my way. Hey. And I'm not mad at you if this is your way. I did start off this way, but as my garden kept growing, my watering needs kept growing. And so I very rarely use a watering can. I only use a watering can for purposes like this and to fertilize my green stalks. Other than that, most of our things are on drip. So I head over to the first bed of onions and y'all see me walking through this thick grass. Trust me, within a few minutes of this video, the grass is going to be cut when I come back to this space. I was trying to get ahead of my husband because I knew that he was going to cut the grass this day. And y'all, my schedule is so busy and packed that when I have moments where I can video, I have to just go ahead and take the opportunity. So, but don't worry, no snakes get me, all is well. But I want to say also thank you for those of you who commented on my last video about the help with the onions. I was so surprised that many of you said that your onions are doing the exact same thing and that you've seen this before. Because y'all, after 5 years of growing onions, I had never seen this before. My onions have never done this. So that's why I was a little bit concerned. But I'm going to take comfort in the fact that many of you said that yours are doing the same thing. And some of you said you've seen this before and your onions turned out just fine. So I went back and looked at my dates of when I started these onions in these beds. And I think it was February the 25th. And so their 90 days will be May 25th, if I'm not mistaken. And then the 100-day mark is like June the 5th. So we're really only 3 weeks away from them being ready to harvest. And so we're going to see what happens over the next 3 weeks and take note. See, notice the grass is cut now. So I came back outside after he got done. And so since I had left off with fertilizing my onions, I decided to go ahead and fertilize my green stalks before we head down to the high tunnel. Now for my green stalks, I'm using a different solution than I did for my onions. So remember, for my onions, I use something high in phosphorus for root development. For my green stalks, the goal is for me to fertilize them every week, but it's probably been 2.5 weeks since I fertilized them just because we've had a lot of rain already, and it was hard for me to kind of get the fertilization in because I didn't want to put more water on it when it was already soaking wet. But I'm using worm castings and a fish emulsion to water and fertilize the green stalks. And so Again, I'm using my watering can. I just take the lid off of the green stalks and I just pour the whole thing in. When you're watering your green stalks or fertilizing, you want to keep adding water until you see water come out of the bottom. For me, it's usually 2 of these watering cans, and I'll start to see water come out of the bottom, and that is a 2-gallon can. For my 3 tiers, it's usually just 1 watering can full, and I'll go ahead and see that. So hopefully these green stalks they're looking good, but I noticed that some of the areas definitely need to be perked up, especially the tower that has like my tomatoes and eggplant in it. So hopefully this will give them a little boost of life. And probably what I'll do is I'll fertilize them again at the end of the week as well, and give them a double dose. Okay, guys, so I've fertilized everything in the backyard except the garlic. But I did the onions, and I even clipped some of them. A lot of you, I was surprised that many of you said that your onions are doing the exact same thing as mine, which is like kind of just flopping over, but they're not brown yet and they're not ready to pull. And many of you said, hey, you've had it before. Many of you have said, hey, it's going to be fine. And so I'm going to trust that. But a lot of you did also say that you trim some of your onion tops. I've never done that before. I've seen people that do it. And so I did trim just a couple of them in this bed. I would say more than a couple, probably 5 or 6, just to see what happens and see if there's any difference. I didn't want to do all of them just because I've never done it before. And like I said, whenever I take a risk, I take it in a very small portion, right? But y'all, I got all of the green stalks fertilized and watered, so they're doing good. And if you notice, my husband has cut the grass, so I had to kind of pause and wait until he got done. But I saw the most exciting thing. I was getting ready to wrap this part up and meet you down the high tunnel, which we're gonna do. But as I was watering the garlic, I saw the very first garlic scape. I had to find it, but here it is right here. Let me back up so you can see. It's that part that's curling over right here. That is our very first garlic scape. And as I was thinking, it's almost time for the scapes to come in the next couple of weeks. They have surprised me. They are forming. I have several forming. This one is probably the one that is the most ready. Let's go ahead and pull this off. You can see that there. Let me talk to you about garlic scapes. And this is, oh my goodness. When I see this, I get excited. Y'all, I absolutely love garlic scapes. And y'all, for the first 2, I would say the first 2 to 3 years of me gardening, I missed out on this delicacy. Oh my goodness. But I'm so glad that I know what a garlic scape is now, and I look for them. So this is if you are growing a hard neck garlic variety. If you grow soft neck garlic, it does not produce a scape. But let me tell you what a scape is, how you can use it, and why you want to go ahead and pull it off when you see. So the garlic scape, the garlic bulb, if you're growing hardneck garlic, sends this up about 2 to 3 weeks before it's time to harvest your garlic. Oh my goodness. And it's the most exciting thing. This is actually edible, and it has an amazing, amazing flavor. You can chop this up and put it into stir fries. It's going to taste like garlic, but this is like what they call, this is considered the delicacy of growing hard neck garlic. You can chop this up and put it into stir fries. You can use it to make like a pesto. The way that I did it last year and the way that I really loved is I actually chopped mine up, freeze dried it, and I made it into like a garlic scape powder. Oh my goodness. It had the most amazing flavor. I was so sad when it ran out. And so I want to make sure that I get all my garlic scapes. And so the reason why you want to cut it is because this is really the flower of the garlic. And so when it sends this scape up, if you were to leave it alone over weeks, it's going to produce a flower, and it's signaling, hey, we're about the end. We're headed towards the end. This is really the flower of the garlic bulb. If you were to leave this for the next few weeks, it's going to eventually turn into a flower. And this is signaling that we are near the end of our life cycle as garlic. And so when you snip this, it's going to direct the plant's energy to produce a bigger bulb of garlic for you versus focusing on growing more leaves and things like that. And so you want to snip it so that you can send that signal to the plant. But also, this is edible and so yummy. So I'm going to go through and see. Now, I planted my garlic. I went back and looked at my notes. I planted my garlic October the 22nd. And so it is now the 2nd week of May. And so my garlic has been in for 7 months. And I typically harvest my garlic usually around the last week of May, no later than the 1st week of June. So this is right on it. 2 to 3 weeks before. Now, I was just thinking as I was watering the garlic, I was like, man, I wish my scapes would either come this week or in 2 weeks, because I'm going to be out of town in between that time, and I don't want to miss my garlic scapes. I was absolutely thinking that as I was watering my garlic, and I saw this, y'all. And so I'm about to go through and see if I can find me some more scapes. So I have 2.5 beds of garlic that I planted back in October, and one bed was about a few weeks behind the first two. So I start with the first 2 beds that I planted, and I'm looking pretty much in the center stalk of the garlic to see if the garlic scape is forming. If it is formed and curled, then I pick it. I do see some that are smaller that have not curved and grown up yet, so I actually leave those. What happens is that it's going to continue to grow over the next week or so. It will get thick, it will get hard, and it'll get woody. I try to always pick mine when it's soft and tender versus letting it get too thick. But I really hate that the first few years of gardening, I had no knowledge. I had no idea what it is. I never picked them. I saw it. I'm like, okay, I just thought that was part of the garlic growing, but I had no idea whatsoever that this is what it was. And so if you're a new gardener and you're growing garlic for the first time and it's hardneck garlic, I want you to pay attention for it, look for it, and don't be like me and not even know that it's there. And just chop it up and add it to your whatever you normally put garlic in. It will give you such an amazing garlic flavor. Like I said, it's considered a delicacy. So I go through and I get quite a handful of garlic scapes, but you better believe I will be looking every single day to make sure I do not miss a garlic scape. Oh, the garlic flavor. Y'all, I got a handful of garlic scapes. I'm so excited. So every garlic bulb will produce a garlic scape. So I'll be checking these every single day. Now, the other thing is that, again, just go look in the center of your garlic stalk. Again, I planted mine October the 22nd. So if you're somewhere around in there, I would start looking for your scapes. When you see it in about 2 to 3 weeks, it's going to be time to harvest your garlic. And so I am right on track. I will be harvesting my garlic probably now the last week of May, which means this bed will be, this bed and that bed and another half of the bed will be empty, which means I can plant some stuff because I still got plants left. And so now I'm thinking, you know, if I can just hold on to the plants that I have left about 2.5 more weeks, I will have a space for them to go for a lot of them, which is fantastic. Now, one of the things is that I pull them usually when they have that curl. There's some that are there that are just forming that you can just see it like sticking up like that. I usually wait until it curls like this, so that one, I get more of a garlic scape and it's more established. Now, you want to get them when they're tender. You can't obviously tell this, but this is very tender. What happens is if you wait too long, they will get tough and woody. You can still use it, but the flavor is not going to be there as when they're soft and tender. So as soon as I see them and they're like this, I go ahead and pull them, because again, within, I would say 3 or 4 days, they'll get bigger, thicker, and woody. But I like them just like this. And so it doesn't look like a lot, but I will chop this up. And again, I will turn this into freeze-dried garlic scape powder and use it to season my dishes. And it is oh so good. So let me know in the comments if you've already seen your garlic scapes. Now, if you do soft neck, you don't get a garlic scape. I've never done soft neck garlic. I always do hard neck garlic. But let me know in the comments if you have harvested any of your scapes. And if you're just as excited as I am. I keep moving, y'all, because the sun is beaming bright. But I feel like we got a good handle on everything back here. Everything was fertilized, which is the number one thing I wanted to do. Everything is watered. We got some garlic scapes. Now let's go down to the high tunnel and the outside garden, and let's do some check some stuff off of our list down there. Look at what I saw as soon as I got to the high tunnel, y'all. Oh, look, our very first peas. Oh my goodness. Look at that. I don't know. I've never grown them before. That one's like not as bulky. This is bulky. Does that mean I can eat it? Okay, y'all. It's bulging ever so slightly. Does that mean I can eat it versus the one that's flat? This one is more flat. You can see the peas on the inside. Okay, y'all. So many surprises today in the garden. Oh my goodness. Y'all. So many surprises today in the garden. So this is what it looks like. That's the part that had the flower. It's bulging just a little bit. Y'all, are we about to walk through the meadow? I'm taking this part off. Okay, I don't know. Am I just supposed to Y'all, we walking through the meadows. Yes, yes. Y'all. They're sweet. I guess that's what y'all been telling me, huh? Okay, y'all. Before I start harvesting, I guess I need to look it up. Like, some are more flat. Like, you can see the peas in there. See the indentation? You can see the peas in there. Am I supposed to get them when they're bulging or when they're flat? I'm assuming when they're bulging is what I'm assuming. That was sweet. Let's try another one. You hear that crunch? This one was not as sweet. Not as sweet. So, and this was less bulgy. I know that's not a word. So I'm supposed to get them when they're bulging. Y'all, my very first time. That's good. I can see where you just going through the garden. You just popping them. You just popping them. Okay. So before I harvest them, I'm going to look it up. But y'all tell me down in the comments. I'll come and get them tomorrow. That's what I'll do. I'm so excited. Let me give y'all a visual. Y'all, I haven't had any surprises in the garden in a while. Those are some two good surprises. Garlic scapes, and I got my sugar snap peas. I can see where that's just like a good snack, y'all. You just get a, I don't know how do they ever make it in the house? I guess I would have to grow a whole lot of them in order for them to make it into the house and for me to actually cook with them. Because I only have a few right now, but I'm assuming the more I harvest, the more they will come on. Y'all, I'm beyond excited. Okay, y'all, the garden is looking really good out here. I am looking at things, just looking like a once over. Things are looking pretty good. My calendula is popping. But let's get to the business. So what I want to do is, no, y'all, I feel like I'm all over the place. I think because I don't know. I got so excited. I tell you what, this is what we're going to do. Let me show you first, because I haven't shown you this. Let's go outside the tunnel and let me show you something. Okay, y'all, this is my latest GREENSTALK. I finally put one down here at the high tunnel that many of you suggested. This is a new color that I have not had before. This is Stunning Stone. So it's a very neutral color. So if you want like a neutral palette and you don't like a lot of the bright colors, then this is a perfect addition. This is one of the colors that stays no matter what. It's not discontinued. It doesn't go away. It's always there. So the Stunning Stone and the Evergreen are the two colors that you can always get no matter what. And this is in the 7-tier leaf. This is the last day of the GREENSTALK Mother's Day sale. So if for some reason you missed it, or let's say you got some money for Mother's Day or a gift certificate, this is the perfect time to use it while things are on sale. You can get $50 off a 3, 7, or 5 tier. You can use my code LFF10 for an extra $10 off. So take advantage of the sale. And y'all, I saw the 2 new colors coming for the summer. Save your coins. Save your coins. But I've been planting this out slowly but surely. I haven't done any of it on camera. So I got a couple of spaces that I need to fill in, just a few, but in here I have a ton of stuff. So I have a mixture of things in here. I have flowers, I have basil, that's cinnamon basil, that's red basil. I have some thyme, I have marjoram, I have some marigolds up there, I have peppers, I have some dwarf nasturtium. So it's just like a mix and a catch-all. And so I thought, again, that it would be good. I want to have another one out here, but I'm trying to see where I want to put it. I was thinking on the other side, but the other side blocks the door to the greenhouse. Not that we ever use that open door, but we use it sometimes. I don't want to block it in case I need it. So, but I thought it would look good if I had 2 that was kind of, you know, not asymmetrical, but one on each side. And really, I think it looked better if they were both the same color, but I want another color. So I don't know. Maybe I'll put one in the outside garden because I'm going to get one of these new colors. Yes, I am. So there's a couple of spaces that's still left. And also I had put green beans in here, and of course they did not germinate because the watering and all of that good stuff, or birds came and ate it. So I have a couple of spaces down here at the bottom that still need something. So let me go in my little stash and see what I can put. Oh, I got another one right there. Let's see what I can pop in here. And we'll finish filling this, so that way we'll be done with that. I'm just trying to check some things off because I feel like the garden is 75% planted, but not 100%. And my goal is to get to 100% this week. That is my goal. So little bit by little bit, that is what I'm trying to do. So let me find some plants to pop in a few of these remaining pockets, and then we'll go on to the next thing. So I end up having about 3 or 4 spaces left that I needed to fill in, and I'm so excited about this GREENSTALK. A lot of times we will have visitors down at our ministry center that is also on the property, and they will walk down and want to see the greenhouse and all of that. And so I've always thought it was a good idea for me to have a GREENSTALK because most people don't make it behind my house, so they don't see it. And so I thought this would be a good way to show people when they come to see my greenhouse or my outside garden or even my fruit orchard that what a GREENSTALK looks like and how you can grow food in just 2 feet of space. I'm always trying to dispel the myth that you got to have a lot of money, that you got to have a lot of land to grow a garden. You absolutely do not. So I'm excited to have to try out this color, this Stunning Stone. I think it's just a beautiful neutral color that kind of goes with everything. And so I get my gloves on. By the way, we do have these gloves that we're selling at livingfoodsfarm.com. You can go to Skin and Body. These are arm saver gloves. I absolutely love them. We have them in 2 different prints, and they come in small, medium, or large. I'm wearing the large size, but you can see how they come up my arms, and they protect from insect bites, from dirt, scratches, all the things. They're durable, and I absolutely love them when I'm planting stuff. So in these 3 or 4 pockets, I pop in a jalapeno pepper. I do another basil. I do another marigold. Just filling this GREENSTALK out. Also, I mentioned I have some dwarf nasturtiums in here. Those seeds came from a viewer, so thank you so much for sending me those because I had never seen the dwarf nasturtiums. And so I'll be interested to see how I'm sure they'll still cascade, but they won't be nearly as long as the regular nasturtiums. So hopefully this GREENSTALK will have plenty of beauty. It'll have flowers, it'll have greenery, it'll have some color with the red basil, plus it'll be some peppers in there. So I think it's just a good overall versatile bed or space that'll have a lot of different stuff in it, which I'm excited about. So after doing my GREENSTALK, I come back into the high tunnel. Well, first of all, look at this calendula in the left-hand corner. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. This is my 2nd year growing calendula, and the calendula that you see here is actually what I put out here in the fall. And what I've noticed is that once it reblooms, I get way more blooms. Now, when I first did my calendula last summer, I was not getting this many blooms in the beginning, but I think because this one has already bloomed before and it's established, I'm getting these blooms like every day, which is awesome. I will use these calendula blooms to make a calendula salve. We actually sell it in our shop. Calendula is kind of like nature's Neosporin. It's great for cuts and bruises and bites. Anything that you would use Neosporin for, calendula is great for. It's also great for like a diaper rash or a barrier if you have little ones. But what I'm doing is I am planting out the empty spaces in some of these beds and not crowding things in, but just making sure there's no open space because I have a lot of plants left. So I'm trying to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. One, fill up the spaces that I have, but then also use some of these plants that I still have left over, which is fine. So in this particular bed, I'm adding in some basil. I'm adding in some eggplant. This bed has a little bit of everything in it. If you're new here, I plant my spaces when I call the rule of 3s. So in every bed or raised bed space, I have herbs, flowers, and vegetables. Companion planting is huge when you're gardening. It helps to repel pests. It helps with your soil diversity. And it gives you a nice aesthetic as well. But it's really important for your soil, and especially when you're trying to manage pests and insects. So in this particular bed alone, I have tomatoes growing. I have marigolds, I have basil, so that's already your flower, your herb, and your veggie. But I also have calendula growing. Back there in the back is some thyme, and then I also have some other flowers, some gomphrena as well. Then I'll move on to the bed right beside it. And even in that bed, you see I have some beautiful snapdragons growing back there. But I also have potatoes in this bed. I have kale. I'm adding in some gomphrena there. And then along the edge, I also have some marigolds as well. Today was a good garden day. I'm going to go ahead and end the video here because my battery is about dead because I'm using my phone today and not my camera. But it was so many garden surprises. Thank you guys for joining me. And I'm so glad that you are part of the garden surprises that we had with our garlic scapes, our sugar snap peas, and then also showing you my my latest green stalk. So thank you guys for joining. And if you are new here, please consider subscribing. Remember, y'all, this is all a journey. Let's grow together.